7 exercises that will make you stupidly strong. Have you ever seen that guy at the gym lifting so much weight that you thought, how the hell is that possible? What does he eat? Well, the truth about gaining real strength isn't what most people think. It's not just about piling more plates on the bar week after week. The secret lies in mastering fundamental movements that simultaneously recruit multiple muscle groups, pushing your body to the limit and stimulating significant strength gains. So today, you'll see the 7 best exercises that will eventually make you stupidly strong. But before we begin, please leave in the comments your name and the city from where you're watching our content. Exercise number 7, deadlift. The deadlift is considered one of the kings of strength exercises for a very simple reason. Few movements can recruit so many muscles at once. We're talking about an exercise that works practically your entire posterior chain, from your calf muscles, through the hamstrings, glutes, spinal erectors, trapezius, and even your forearms. This multi-joint characteristic makes it a true anabolic hormone-producing machine, significantly increasing your testosterone and growth hormone levels. What makes the deadlift so powerful for strength gain is that it teaches your body to work as a cohesive unit. When you pull that bar from the floor, you're not just lifting weight, you're learning to transfer force from the ground through your legs, hips, and back. This is a fundamental movement pattern that transfers to practically any activity involving strength, from carrying your groceries to moving heavy furniture. When mastered, the deadlift not only builds impressive raw strength, but also strengthens your core in a way that isolated exercises never could. It teaches your body to stabilize itself under load, creating a solid foundation for any other strength training you might do. It's not an exaggeration to say that adding consistent deadlifts to your routine can completely transform your ability to generate strength in all other exercises. To execute correctly, position yourself with your feet approximately shoulder-width apart, with the bar over the middle of your feet. When bending down to grip the bar, maintain a neutral spine, with your hips above your knees and below your shoulders. The movement begins with pushing your legs against the floor, keeping the bar close to your body throughout the lift. Complete hip extension at the top of the movement is crucial to maximize glute recruitment. Among the common errors that should be avoided are rounding the lower back, starting the movement with the hips too low, allowing the bar to drift away from the body during the movement, and hyperextending the back at the top of the movement. Start with moderate loads to perfect your technique before significantly increasing the weight. Exercise 6, barbell bench press. The bench press is probably the most iconic exercise in strength training culture. When someone asks, how much do you lift? They're usually referring to your maximum bench press. But beyond the cultural status, the bench press is genuinely one of the most complete exercises for developing upper body strength, especially for the chest muscles, anterior deltoid, and triceps. What makes the bench press so effective for strength gain is its ability to allow the use of very heavy loads in a relatively safe movement pattern when compared to other upper body exercises. Of course, if you drop the bar, you'll have problems, but in general, it's a safe movement pattern. This high-intensity stimulus is precisely what your body needs to develop maximum strength. For proper execution, lie on the bench with your feet firmly planted on the floor for stability. Your position should allow your eyes to align with the bar when it's in the rack. Grip the bar with a slightly wider than shoulder-width grip. Lower the bar in a controlled manner until it lightly touches your chest at nipple level, and then push back to the starting position, focusing on contracting your chest and keeping your elbows at approximately a 45-degree angle relative to your torso. Among the most common errors are excessively arching your back, not touching your chest with the bar, shortening the range of motion and limiting gains, lifting your hips off the bench during the movement, and allowing your elbows to open too wide, putting excessive stress on your shoulders. An often neglected aspect of the bench press is the crucial role of scapular retraction. This position not only creates a more stable base to push from, but also puts your shoulders in a much safer position, reducing the risk of rotator cuff injuries over time. Implementing variations such as incline bench press, decline bench press, or different grip widths can help address specific weak points and continue progressing when you hit plateaus. Before we continue to number 5, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Having constant access to correct and science-based information is what will make you progress in the long term in the bodybuilding world. Exercise 5, military press. Pushing weight above your head is one of the most primitive and functional movements that exist. and mastering this exercise directly transfers to explosive strength in practically any sport or daily activity. This exercise primarily works the deltoids, especially the anterior and middle portions, but also significantly recruits the trapezius, triceps, serratus anterior, and even the core muscles, as these need to stabilize the entire spine while you push the weight. It's precisely this combination of muscles that makes the military press such an efficient strength builder. It not only strengthens the shoulders in isolation, but teaches your entire body to work as a unit to generate vertical force. The true power of the military press lies in its ability to develop what we can call structural strength. Not just stronger muscles, but also more robust joints, more resistant tendons, and better neuromuscular coordination. Athletes with strong military press typically exhibit greater shoulder stability and better posture, which translates to lower risk of injuries and greater ability to transfer force in explosive movements. To execute correctly, start with feet shoulder width apart, holding the bar at the upper chest, with hands slightly wider than shoulder width. Before initiating the movement, contract your glutes and core to stabilize your spine. Push the bar vertically, moving your head slightly backward to allow the bar to rise in a straight line. At the top of the movement, your arms should be completely extended with the bar directly above your shoulders, not in front of or behind them. Among common errors are excessively arching your back to compensate for lack of shoulder mobility, not properly contracting your core, letting your elbows point backward instead of slightly forward, which can compromise your shoulders, and using leg drive to throw the weight, transforming the exercise into a push press, which is valid, but different. Exercise 4. Bent over row. The bent over row is often overshadowed by pushing exercises in most people's routines, but understand this. For every pushing movement, there should be an equivalent pulling one if you truly want to develop functional and balanced strength. The bent over row is one of the best exercises to build what we can call pulling strength, the ability to pull heavy objects toward your body with power and control. This exercise primarily works the back muscles, latissimus dorsi, trapezius, rhomboids and teres major, but also intensely recruits the biceps, forearms, and even the core stabilizing muscles. What makes the row so powerful for strength gains is its ability to progressively overload the posterior trunk musculature using very heavy loads. This intense stimulus promotes not only muscle growth, but also neural adaptations that increase your ability to recruit more muscle fibers simultaneously, a crucial factor for explosive strength. To execute correctly, hold the bar with hands at shoulder width and an overhand or alternating grip. Slightly bend your knees and lean your torso forward, keeping your back straight and not rounded at an angle of approximately 45 degrees. The movement consists of pulling the bar toward your lower abdomen, keeping your elbows close to your body, and focusing on contracting your back muscles. Control the descent of the bar, resisting gravity instead of simply letting it fall. Among the most common errors are swinging your body, transforming the exercise into a swinging movement instead of a true row, not maintaining a neutral spine position by excessively arching or rounding, not completing the range of motion by making the bar touch your abdomen and letting your shoulders project forward at the lowest point of the movement. Don't forget about scapular retraction and depression during the movement. Even before initiating elbow flexion, you should feel the shoulder blades moving toward the spine and downward, creating a solid base for the row. Exercise 3. Dips. Dips on parallel bars are often considered the superior version of push-ups, an exercise that separates intermediate practitioners from advanced ones. This movement seems simple at first glance, but represents a significant challenge even for experienced athletes when executed with perfect technique and, eventually, with overload. The power of dips lies in the fact that they intensely work the entire pushing chain of the upper body. Lower chest, triceps, and anterior deltoids are the protagonists, but the exercise also engages the serratus anterior, core, and even the scapular stabilizing muscles. This integration of multiple muscle groups in a single movement creates an extremely potent stimulus for strength gains. What makes dips particularly effective for strength building is the nature of the bodyweight exercise. Unlike machines that stabilize the movement for you, dips require your body to create its own stability while moving your entire weight through a full range of motion. This stabilization requirement adds a dimension of difficulty that results in greater muscle fiber recruitment and better neuromuscular coordination. To execute correctly, position yourself on the bars with extended arms, erect body, and a slight forward angle to engage more of the chest. About 15 degrees is enough. Control the descent by flexing your elbows until your shoulders are below your elbows, creating an approximately 90-degree angle in your elbows, keeping your elbows close to your body. On the way up, push the bars until completely extending your elbows, actively contracting the triceps at the top. Among common errors in dips are using insufficient range of motion, swinging the body to generate momentum, elevating the shoulders toward the ears, losing scapular retraction, and letting the elbows open excessively to the sides. The controlled descent is particularly important. Many practitioners simply let the body fall instead of controlling the eccentric movement, thus losing much of the stimulus for strength gain. When you master the exercise with body weight, adding overload with weight belts or plates between your legs makes dips one of the most efficient exercises for developing raw strength in the upper body. Exercise 2. Pull-up. The pull-up is frequently considered the true measure of functional strength of the upper body. There's something almost primordial about being able to pull your entire body weight upward, a skill that was literally a matter of life and death for our ancestors. It's no coincidence that military special forces around the world use this exercise as part of their physical tests. What makes the pull-up particularly effective for strength gain is the compound nature of the movement, recruiting practically the entire posterior upper body. The latissimus dorsi is the protagonist, but the exercise also intensely works the biceps, brachialis, brachioradialis, rhomboids, lower and middle trapezius, teres major, and the forearm muscles. To execute correctly, grip the bar with hands slightly wider than shoulder width, using an overhand grip for the traditional pull-up. Start with arms completely extended, shoulders actively retracted. Pull your body upward, concentrating on bringing your elbows down and back, not just flexing your arms. The movement is complete when your chin passes the bar. Control the descent, resisting gravity instead of simply falling. And I'll say this in advance. To do quality pull-ups, you need good scapular control. Even before you start flexing your elbows, you should activate your back muscles to depress your shoulder blades by pulling your shoulders down, away from your ears. This initial activation creates a much stronger base for the movement and maximizes latissimus dorsi recruitment from the beginning. Among other common errors are using momentum by swinging your legs, not completing the range of motion, both at the top and bottom, excessively elevating your shoulders toward your ears, and not keeping your core contracted during the movement. Full range is crucial. Many practitioners don't completely extend their arms at the lowest point, missing the crucial stimulus on the back muscles in this stretched position. Exercise 1. Squat. The squat is often called the most functional exercise, and it's not an exaggeration. It primarily works the quadriceps, glutes, and hamstrings, but also intensely recruits the adductors, abductors, spinal erectors, core, and even upper body muscles that work isometrically to stabilize the bar. This massive muscle recruitment makes the squat a potent stimulator of natural anabolic hormone production, creating an ideal internal environment for strength growth throughout the body, not just in the legs. What makes the squat particularly effective for strength gains is its ability to allow the use of extremely heavy loads while maintaining the body in a relatively safe position when executed correctly. This high level of mechanical tension, distributed across large muscle groups, creates a stimulus that your body simply cannot ignore. It needs to adapt and get stronger. To execute correctly, position the bar firmly on your trapezius muscles. Your feet should be approximately shoulder width apart or slightly wider, with toes pointing slightly outward. Initiate the movement by braking at the hips and knees simultaneously, keeping your chest up and spine neutral. Descend until your hips are below the knee line, then push through your heels to return to the starting position, keeping your knees aligned with your toes throughout the movement. Among common errors are not achieving sufficient depth, allowing your knees to collapse inward, raising your heels off the floor, allowing your chest to fall forward excessively, and lumbar hyperlordosis. Each of these errors not only reduces the effectiveness of the exercise, but also significantly increases the risk of injuries when substantial loads are involved. Now, one last very important warning. You will hardly be able to gain much strength if your hormonal levels are low. And worst of all, with today's modern conveniences, most men make mistakes that end up destroying their own testosterone levels. If you want to know what the 10 most common errors that destroy men's testosterone are, we've left a video showing each one of them appearing right now on your screen. Thank you for watching until here, and may God bless you, my friend.